Oh, Abby, I have your specs when we leave. All right.
So let's see. Hi.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to this edition of the Nantucket Historic District Commission. It is July 22nd at 4:02 p.m. Let's see, this meeting is being audio-video recorded. Anything you say or share will be shown on the town's YouTube. Please act accordingly. There are one member of the public. I'm not going to make a recording announcement here. Let's see, public comments, HDC-related comments and/or concerns can be sent to hdcpubliccomment@nantucket-ma.gov. Comments are due by 8 a.m. the Monday prior to the meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Regular members, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously. On consents, Val, looks like you're a recusal.
Yep. I have a historic determination.
All right, Connie, can you sit on that? Any other recusals, regular members? Can I get a motion to approve consents?
Motion to approve
All in
consents.
favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have a consent with conditions. Any recusals? Motion,
Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry. Yes.
Raise off.
That's actually my project.
all right, for expediency, we will pick up Connie again. Thank you. If you can
Motion
sit.
to approve consent with conditions.
Connie, you're good to sit?
Yes.
Okay, Val's motion, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
No opposed, carries unanimously. Commissioner Q&A with Preservation Planner, is Holly on the YouTube?
She
Or
is
the
on, don't know if you want her.
Okay. Is there anyone who has a question for Holly on old business items? Actually,
There's only really
new
one.
business 415 5 Meter Street? Or,
That's how.
That's not on. 34 Tennessee
yeah,
would be
that's
the only
correct.
possibility.
okay.
Holly, you have the floor.
Actually,
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Holly, welcome. We're just checking to see if there's any questions. We're holding, any questions on 34 Tennessee? Okay. Holly, anything on CLG?
Not since last week, but hopefully I'll have some minutes for you guys for upcoming meetings.
Okay, no, that sounds good. We appreciate it. Okay, let's see. So we're on to old business of 722. 11 Davis Lane, sitting are myself, Commissioner Polkamp, Oliver, and McLeod. Alternates are Connie and Joe.
Matthew.
Is Matt with us? There we are, Matt. As you can see, we're in a lightning round, Matt.
You can drive. So, we could maybe go to the elevations. These are the revisions. So, if you recall, we came back before you to alter the second floor deck detail. We had horizontal wood members, not cable. And the suggestion was to add kind of a hybrid, basically, where you're creating a half shingled wall and then the remaining portion being the horizontal wood members. So that's what's before you. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Matt. Does anyone have any concerns with this? Dale?
It is gray, Mr. Chair, through you.
Gray?
Yeah,
Not natural weather gray or?
Gray, painted.
gray.
My concerns are still the same from the drawings.
Yeah.
It seems as though the doors seem still as doors where the shingles across that we had before, I think it was all shingled, sort of mitigated that. It just seems like an overwhelming amount of fenestration, but I may be the only one who thinks that.
I'll go with that.
That she's the only one that thinks that, or that,
I don't think it mitigates it at all, in my opinion.
If I could, Mr. Chair, one, through you, it's.
Yeah, go ahead,
Just
Matt.
really briefly, is I think when the elevations in the CAD drawings kind of show things in a way that, from a perspective that you don't really see, and I think that if you're looking at this from the ground, because the wood horizontal members, I think that your eye kind of like stops at those, so I totally understand your point, Val. I think in reality, when you see that outer edge, the delineation, if you will, of the top rail and the horizontal members plus the shingles, that's really where your eye goes, and the actual bottom half of those French doors is set back, some number of feet. So I don't think there'll be, I still think that in reality, and again, it's my opinion, but I think that you really won't see the lower section. In these 2D drawings, it presents itself more dramatically, for what it's worth.
Anything else, Val?
Yeah, I do have a question. So Matt, I noticed you did change it on the east elevation, which I'll call the front. But none of the other elevations adapted that half wall or pony wall up.
Again,
Okay,
through
that was,
you, Mr. Chair, the comments were focused on those, the front and the rear, so those are the changes that we
yeah,
made them to.
okay.
Okay. Anyone else?
yeah, I could,
Abby?
the roof over the porch, is that a natural to weather wood
Yes,
shakes? Okay. I'm just used to seeing a set-in porch like that with the corners wrapping somehow. And you don't have like a set of French doors, thank God. But it's not like you're losing any view. So I think if you brought it in and made it a little more traditional so that the corners wrapped, instead of having the board straight across, it might look a little more, I don't know, just more like something we do.
so through you, Mr.
Matt, go
Chair,
ahead, quick.
we could, so you're suggesting bring the side shingled walls in, return them like 18 inches or something like that?
Yeah.
So we could do that.
Okay. Any other concerns? I'll just say I agree with Val. I think the railing treatment should be the same, the balustrade, just wide enough, just viewable enough that it's, well, one, it's an atypical design element. I don't think it's inappropriate, however, I think it would be potentially, in terms of the vocabulary of the design, confusing to have it in just one location.
We could do that return on both locations.
Anyone else? What would we like to do? If we approve it, we're gonna need an exhibit A, if, otherwise we are gonna ask for minor revisions.
I still have the same concern about the doors, so it would mean either a shingled rail. I don't think the return of 18 inches fixes anything.
I could bring it.
So I would make a motion to hold for minor revisions.
Matt, you
I could do that.
adjust the height.
Yeah, I can, so I'll do the returns and then maybe
Alright.
adjust the height of the bottom of the shingle rail, maybe?
Thanks, I think it'd just be simpler.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries unanimously.
Thank you.
We're gonna move on, thank you, Matt, 20 Derrimore. I just wanna say something before we move to 20 Derrimore Road. I think this is, at the Nantucket Historic District Commission, an historic moment. We have 3 old business items, and I wanna thank everyone for their dedication to being succinct and exercising their authority by telling people what they want because the result is our old business agenda is being whittled down to nearly nothing. So, whatever y'all are doing, please keep it up.
I thought that's just because some were hiding in the file in the back somewhere.
Nope, that's what's there. That's all that's coming in.
That's
20
crazy.
Derrimore, Linda?
Wait till next week.
Yeah, I know. Just giving everybody a pep talk.
All right.
This
well,
one's good.
Appreciated.
The board is the regular board, no, except for
No.
Connie, not Ray, but Connie.
I'm not on it.
You're on as an alternate. You wanted the drawings to reflect exactly the dormer that is there. He redrew it, drew the dormer that is there. We narrowed the dormer, and there you go.
Okay. The board, so you have it, Linda, because I know you're going to ask that next, is myself, Abby, Val, Angus, and Connie. And are there any concerns? Okay, since I see no one falling over each other, is there a motion?
I make a motion to approve as submitted.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That carries unanimously.
Connie,
Is it pizza time yet?
We're now
10
on to
o'clock
18
Thursday,
Gladlands.
right? Yeah,
Tori?
here. Tomorrow.
Your board
Okay.
is myself, Ray,
the
Val,
23rd,
Angus, and
yeah.
Carrie. Carrie, can you hear us?
Yep, I'm here.
Super, thanks. And we can hear you.
The Calgary is still there. I went there today.
Okay, so we're gonna let Tori present and then we're gonna go from there, okay? Tori?
Okay, good evening, everybody. So we left it that we really were not fans of the cattle grate period. Your general rule of opinion was that you didn't want any of the Belgian block either, but the landscaper and I revisited the street, and I've included precedent photos of almost Belgian block at every driveway, including the side that has the bike path with Belgian block on both sides. So that was one thing I wanted to bring to your attention. We have proposed a gate, as you suggested. We've given a sample photograph of that at the end. We also, if we could stop here for a minute, this is the original photograph that I submitted, and I've marked it up with where we're proposing the Belgian block and the pedestrian gate to the right, and in addition to including a picture of the pedestrian gate sample at the bottom of the photos. But you can see there's space between the cattle grate and the post in this picture, and the year-round evergreen is not planted. Since then, we have brought these posts in and brought the driveway in to the edge, so that space is not there, and planted more evergreen both on the left and the right of each post to mask and create more vegetation barrier, and we've added more vegetation to the street side. And you'll see that in the next couple photos. I just wanted to bring the old to your attention so you could recognize the changes. If you want to scroll down a little bit. So I tried to give the address of each Belgian block example on the road. You can keep scrolling. Yeah. There's one with Belgian block on both sides of the bike path.
Oh. So offensive.
Yeah.
This
There's
apron snob.
another one right across the street.
Whoa. That's not an apron, that's a dress.
Another one just to the left of us. So I think the general intention while we're looking at the photos of the landscaper was that the Belgian block on either side of the grate will mask it, plus the gate over the top of it will mask it. Here's a new picture now. You can see the posts have been moved in, the evergreens have been planted on the left, and I think I added 2 more photos farther back as well. So you could see, they tightened up the curve, the metal edging of the driveway as well and brought it closer.
Okay.
So there wasn't so much space.
Okay, anything else?
I believe that's it. You can kind of see there how it's tighter and more vegetation, and the plan, as you suggested, is to do more vegetation all around.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, and there's a couple photos, if we keep going, of the proposed gate and the pedestrian gate. That's the proposed gate that I believe you guys were suggesting we include, not the fence to the left and right, not the fence to the left and the right. And that's the pedestrian gate that we were proposing to the right of the entrance.
With the pickets?
We could remove the pickets, whatever you deem would be appropriate with that gate style.
Okay, just for informational
Yep.
purposes. Sorry, Ray, keep touching your foot. It's not intentional. Okay, who would like to go?
I will.
Val?
I just went there before the meeting. I didn't see any vegetation planted, but maybe they just haven't planted it yet. I'm not understanding the thing about the space between the posts and the grates. The grates still accrete proud of the fence, or what will be the proposed gate, by so many feet. And I thought the intention was to move the gate so that it was in front of the cattle guards, which aren't anywhere else on the whole entire street. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you can go back to the photo, I can
Yeah,
explain. So, well, that's your example.
Right.
And Val, if I may,
Yes.
please go ahead and state what it is you require when you get to it.
Okay, so you see where the post is? You see where the grate is? That post should be in front of that grate if they're even trying to keep the grate. Not bisect it and leave it in front of the gate, or even partially in front of the gate. The point was, I think, to eliminate that, and if they're not gonna eliminate it, it should be mitigated somehow, which, yeah.
You're trying to avoid a peekaboo grate, as they say, where some of it is on the roadside of the.
Well,
of
it
the
doesn't
gate.
make any sense to me.
But that's what you're trying to avoid?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, thank you. Who else?
I don't care about the Belgian block.
Angus?
I'm happy to go. Except for the Belgian block that went for like 3 times depth, they're really, straddling the walk is one thing, but going back on the property and then being on the backside of an element on top of that is overkill for the Belgian block. And also I don't think that the Belgian block really hides the grate, as one might hope. And it's still something that isn't on any of the driveways for the whole Gladlands Road. So that's still an issue for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else with concerns?
I'll go.
Carrie?
I just am confused as to why there are gates and a grate. Aren't they supposed to be doing the same thing? It's a little overkill. I'm fine with the Belgian block doing whatever it's doing, because Tori's shown us that this street has Belgian block in all different formations. So I think the cattle grate should go and the gates are fine, because with the gates, you don't need the grate. And we don't want to start a whole new trend with cattle grates everywhere. Thanks.
Thanks, Carrie. Anything, Ray?
Yeah, so I'm also fine with the precedent for the block, Belgian block, the extent of it. It's obviously not the first time it's happened there. And I did, I think Val has a good solution to the problem of moving, the problem of the grate, which is we move the posts and the gate forward so that the entirety of the grate is behind the gate. Those are my thoughts.
Okay, thanks. I would agree with Ray, however, my concern is that the gates will be too close to the street, and the only issue I have with that is I think these gates are, I think they're appropriate if they're not a central element in terms of defining the entryway. You know, they kind of, obviously you're gonna see a gate in a driveway if there's a gate there. But if it's prominent, if it's right up near the street, I'm thinking like 3 Primrose and others, in kind of rural areas, it really, I think it changes the nature of the character in the setting. So my concern is that the gate be moved forward, and I don't think that's appropriate. I'm trying to judge this on a case-by-case basis. So I'm not looking at precedent, but I am aware of that. I would prefer with gates, no grates. I believe that grates are an unwelcome element visually, and I'm not convinced that they are actually going to stop a hungry deer. I've seen a hungry deer, and they can, you know, jump pretty damn far.
Mr. Chair,
Yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just wanted to remind you that we did not collect the as-built fee.
We did not collect the
So
as-built.
if you were to make a motion either way.
So
just
there is
remember
another
that.
element that Kathy has mentioned.
May I just make a
Hold on a
comment?
second,
Okay.
the chair has the floor for just another 30 seconds. To summarize, I think it should be with gates, no grates, and moving forward, people should apply in advance. And in this one, there should be an as-built fee regardless.
Well, then you don't have
Tori?
to move it.
Do you want to say something? Then we're
Yeah,
gonna
I
wrap
just,
this
I
up.
just wanted to say that we'd be perfectly happy moving the gate, excuse me, up and the post to the front of the grate. And I will document that the distance from the edge of the bike path to the beginning of the grate is 10 feet. So as far as being too close to the street, that's the normal size of a regular planning board required depth of a apron. So I just wanted to give you that dimension in case that changes your opinion of it being too close or appropriately from
Well,
the
I
bike
have a
path.
follow-up question. What will the distance be from the bike path to the gate if the gate is moved up to the front of the grates?
10 feet.
10 feet.
Yep.
So the only way that I would be in support of it is if there's a tremendous amount more vegetation planted to the left and the right of the gate, so that all you really see is this natural to weather gate, which eliminates the grates. And that, I think, would be the only solution that I can see going forward, personally.
I have a question for Tori.
Val?
If you just remove the grate, then you don't have to move the posts or the gate,
I understand.
and you can, I mean, it's redundant then.
But the concrete's left, so we still have to address that. So. I mean, I think that there should be a donation to the Deers Are Hungry Fund and a couple of other ones. Deers Are Your Friends, Deers Deserve to Eat on Sunday nights, and a couple of those other nonprofits. But I don't know.
Mr. Chair?
Yeah, Carrie?
I just wanted to note, Val was noticing that there's no planting. I think they planted on the inside of the posts, not the outside of the posts.
Yeah.
Outside towards the bike path. So while, extra planting is appreciated, it needs to be on the correct side.
And I concur with you, which is why I stated that's the only way I see moving forward is if the gates move up with the posts, that there's a tremendous amount of supplemental planning just to make this thing kind of disappear.
Right.
It's just a little gate peeking through with natural to weather presence.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
The plan is to have much more vegetation on the street side as you've originally requested,
Okay.
just not planted yet.
So I think how we either do this is we do, if there's an appetite to move forward, someone needs to make a motion, obviously, and it should include an Exhibit A, so there's no confusion at a later date as to what is expected.
I would make a motion to approve the gate as shown in the photo, but to have it at the very far back of the site, of the drive before it opens up back here, and to remove the grate.
Okay. Let's see, so again, it is myself, Ray, Val, Angus, and Carrie.
Can I have a
All in favor,
question?
say aye.
Was Carrie trying to say something?
I'm not
I
sure.
was, I'm sorry, I was, because I was confused about that. So what do I say? Do I second it? Can I
You can
second?
second it for discussion?
Can I second it for discussion, just to find
Yeah.
out where the Belgian block is and how much of it is? Is it just replacing where the grate is? If you fill in where the grate was with Belgian block, is that what you're talking about, Angus?
To have a typical Belgian block apron, which is 10 feet deep on the road, from the road, which might end up straddling the bike path. Or it could be 10 feet off the bike path, but the gate would be to the beginning of the circle instead of moving forward closer to the road, because there aren't any, they're very,
Okay, thank you.
Can I
Ray,
third the motion for,
third for
okay.
discussion.
So, although there are certain things that I don't think work about that particular solution, although, I'm not in favor of it. But the thing that I'm understanding is that the idea is to move the gate back to the backside of where the cattle grate currently is, correct? I.e. further into the site.
On the side of the site Belgian block, so not where the grade is, but even closer to the house or further away from the road.
Well, okay, so am I correct in saying then that if the Belgian block is always only going 10 feet off the bike path, then you're going to have a Belgian block apron, then it's going to segue to P-stone or whatever that is, and then the gate way beyond all that doesn't, I think it'd be nice if the gate lined up with the backside of the Belgian block. I'm not in favor of a huge amount of Belgian block, but I think that they should kind of line up.
Can I comment? Since,
Okay.
we
You
have
want
a
to
third?
fourth
I
it
was
for,
going to fourth, but I'm feeling that at
thruple.
4:27, a fourth is a little long-winded. I agree with Ray. I think that if we're gonna move the gate and remove the grates, that one way to blend that concrete would be to use Belgian block in that area. It solves for various problems. It also, I do like the idea of the gate being further back that Angus has presented. So that, to me, would be a compromise, not without precedent in the area, given the dress that we saw earlier versus the apron.
Right.
So on the motion, any interest in reconsidering before we move forward?
So I could do the motion, including an Exhibit A, showing Belgian block that goes from the bike path to the gate that is on the far inside part of the driveway,
Yeah, fair enough.
And eliminating the.
and eliminating the
eliminating
grade.
the grade.
Yeah,
Okay.
and including the as-built fee.
And Tori, is that something, I mean, this is pretty much where we're gonna end on it.
I just wanted to ask a question if I could for clarification. So what the motion is proposing is that the gate would be at the original location that Angus was proposing,
Yeah,
and
move
it would
the gate
be
to the backside of the grate, remove the grates, put in Belgian block.
just to the backside of the grate, because the backside of the grate is a difference from the beginning of the circle, which he originally mentioned. Is that changing
I
to
think
just to the backside of the grate now?
Belgian blocked area, which is where the grate is, right?
That's fine
The,
with
the,
me.
the grate is there, but the gate would be here.
Right, at the backside.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so space in
more
between the edge of the
vegetation.
grate and the
At
gate
the
or
back of the
no?
Belgian block.
Okay, so that would be about 25 feet of Belgian block. I just want to make sure you understand that,
I think
after the bike
I
path.
think we're more,
Okay.
I believe the majority is more comfortable with that than the grate, but that in the future, a 25-foot apron is certainly not something we're gonna be approving as a matter of course.
And are we okay with the pedestrian gate?
I think
Yeah, I
the
am.
simplified gate, right? Just no pickets?
You're asking specifically about the pedestrian gate.
As part of
I was
which is
fine
part of
with
the application.
precedent photo.
Which is, where is that in
To,
this?
to the right of the posts currently?
Right, my only concern with that is introducing pickets where there are none, so I would
Right.
say it
Yeah, we're
should
fine not doing the
mimic
pickets.
the
Fence.
Style of the gate.
vehicle gate,
Yep,
and that would be on the Exhibit A.
okay.
Is that your Exhibit A, which is to say?
With the supplementary vegetation in front?
Yes. So first of all, the gate will move back to the rear edge of the Belgian block, rear being with respect to the house away from the road. The person gate will mimic the vehicle gates, except for obviously be smaller. The grates will be removed and replaced with Belgian block. And there will be supplemental planning along the street, all in an Exhibit A.
That's right,
Is that a fair representation of your motion,
including the as-built fee.
including the as-built?
I just have one more question, I'm sorry, to bring to your attention. So the deer fence that exists at the post would then wrap back to the gate, is that okay?
Hidden and be hidden.
To connect with
by
the vegetation? Okay,
On Angus's motion,
So,
do a voice vote, Angus?
Just to be clear, that wouldn't go along the drive, it would, there would
Need to
be
be set back, yeah.
yeah, there would be vegetation, so
Yep.
shy it would come back around to where the gate is.
Where the new trees are planted, it would be behind the trees.
So
Back
Angus
to the
will
gate.
address that in the Exhibit A.
And that I will. That's the
On
motion.
Angus's motion, Angus,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Ray,
Aye.
Al,
No,
and I'm an aye. Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you. Now we are on to 6 Fargo Way.
6 Fargo Way.
Is Chip with us?
Yes, good evening, I am.
Not yet, and hopefully we won't get there, Chip, not the evening part. Please proceed.
Okay, and if I can share the screen, I will walk through the application.
I can't get this
Yeah.
one to come up.
Okay,
With our new system.
so I just sent a request to share, a little icon came up. And looks like I can now share, great. And let me know if that comes up okay.
Nope, we're
Why not?
looking at a very populated desktop, which also makes your computer run slower.
I was trying to,
We see it
oh, I
now.
see what happened. Oh, no, okay,
We see it now. Okay, why don't you go ahead and proceed with
no, how about now?
Yeah,
Okay,
go ahead and proceed with the changes.
good evening, everyone. First of all, congratulations on a super short agenda. That's amazing.
We're hoping for a super short meeting too.
Yeah, so I'll be super quick. Chip Webster on behalf of the applicant for proposed addition renovation at 6 Fargo. I'll start with, you can see the locus plan for the location. It's on Fargo Lane. If you're not familiar with that, that's off of Wawinnet Road. To the right of that, you can see the plot plan with the areas clouded that are part of this application. I want to point out on this plot plan, you'll see a proposed garage that is not bubbled, only because that's not part of this application. That's still in design. But you'll also see, you can see in this plan, there's a breezeway that connects, a proposed breezeway from the main house to that garage, which is included in this. So I just want to point that out because it might look a little confusing otherwise. You can see that the primary addition is to the rear of the house. And then there are some, as we'll see, proposed changes on each of the elevations. So here's some existing photos. The first photo, looking down the driveway, is standing on Fargo looking into the property, where you can see a view of the existing house is highly mitigated by a lot of vegetation. That next one, view from driveway, I actually walked into the property, but just wanted to show you if there were any visibility from someone coming in, what angle of the house it would be. That angle, that view is synonymous with the southeast photo that is in the next row of photos. Okay, and then the other photos accompanied. So on that elevation, which would be the most visible, but albeit still mitigated if you're on Fargo Way, you can see the upper, this was sort of a classic Gwen Thorson house, center chimney with symmetrical flanking wings, with a lot of glass and so forth and a skylight. So we are proposing, one, to remove the skylight, two, to replace that second floor mold unit with a single unit and add a porch across the front with more traditional entry fenestration with a center door and windows. That is the entry elevation. You can kind of see, which we'll see in a second, around the corner to the left, addition that is to the rear of the house. Moving right along, this is the back of the house. On the top, we have the existing, yes,
Your time is running out. I'm
Okay,
not gonna cut you off, but I just want you
proposed-
to be aware of it.
okay, then the other two sides and so forth, and door and window schedule, and I turn it over to the board for comments and questions. Thank you.
Yeah, I presume people have previewed the application, so. Okay, who would like to begin? New board, regular members. I'll let the members.
I could go.
Abby,
Say
please.
something really ridiculous. That This, it's quite an odd odd house in that it seems very tall and boxy and sort of doesn't sit on the ground, sort of like its own little rocket ship. And adding these wings off to the left and sort of tapering down kind of grounds it for me. I know it makes for a very large house, but in some ways, I think it's helped this architecture. So those are my opening statements.
Thank you. Anyone else with concerns?
I'll just say that I agree with Abby on this. Yeah, I know this house and yeah, it's pretty tall in relation to its width. So this additive stuff, the porches and so forth, are going to remedy that.
Anyone else? It's a net benefit.
No, I agree
benefit.
too. It's just the oddball connector to the garage.
A little heavy.
Decking, and if you look at it, it is like a U shape. Is there any way to simplify that? But Ray, you know this, can you see it from the street? I didn't go to the site. I
Well,
previewed
you
the-
could see this from Fargo Way, but
Okay,
the last time I was down Fargo Way was probably 20 years ago.
oh. So,
With
yeah,
that-
I mean, the southeast is really the only
Yeah.
thing that
Yeah,
I would be
that's true.
concerned with. And the, just that discussion about that decking, if you see how it all ties together, but other than that, I'm fine. I like the additive massing.
Okay, thank you. What do we want to do, folks?
I would make a motion to approve as submitted.
Okay, on the motion, all in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Okay,
Here it is.
carries. That's going to move us on to the last item on our agenda,
Who?
except for approving the minutes, which is 34.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
Jeff. Matt, good evening.
Good evening. Yeah, I'd love to share if I could.
Okay.
Yeah.
How I'm doing it.
Yeah,
It's just like
It's the
swivel
Converse, they
chair
just wanna
swing,
touch each other.
bing, bing.
no. Okay, Matt, you sharing? There it is.
Oh,
It really is a very difficult system to get used to.
The new. Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just use it. We have
I've
a
downloaded
Dropbox.
it 8 times. Where it goes is beyond me.
There you go.
I'm afraid to hit
But
that.
Matt,
'cause
you're
it'll-
on it, so let's.
Yeah, okay.
In the future, you'll be able to do that for your presentations.
Yeah,
You made some changes.
correct. Okay, so I'm just gonna give you the quick rundown here. So 36 is across the street here. So if you recall, that was the new dwelling that was approved. There was a structure that was on the property that was, the main body of that structure was a gambrel structure that you approved to move across the street, which is lot 49 and 50. So that was approved. And then during that, and the two areas are highlighted. So during that process, the two wings we had approved to be demolished. At one point, we suggested, or you suggested, like, is there any way to take or retain more of that existing structure? So what we're before you here tonight is to do two things, is to propose some changes to the gambrel that you allowed us to move across the street. But we're also able to salvage that one portion of the original structure and move it and integrate it into this structure. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you're reciting and you are making modifications to the originally proposed.
Correct,
The reciting is in addition to the originally proposed.
exactly.
Okay.
And-
Can you show us the pictures? The
Certainly.
elevation?
The other thing I want to tell you about the structure is that it is going to be used for an agricultural use. So a lot of the details, the design and the layout is specifically a reflection of the owner's use, if you will.
Is that first floor, is that planting beds inside?
No, it's the second floor.
That's the second floor.
That's the
So-
first floor.
So the second floor is basically like a home office, if you will. But the first floor is all, utility, in what we're calling a barn.
Okay.
But a lot of the architecture literally is a direct reflection of how these owners are planning to use it. So I learned a lot of familiar or new terms about horses and agriculture. Anyway, so we've provided two elevations on the right side for your reference. So one is the gambrel structure that was relocated and approved. So that gambrel in the upper right-hand corner reflects what DHDC has approved. We've also included the elevations of the portion of the structure that we're proposing to reuse, repurpose. Obviously, if there was portions of that elevation that were obstructed because it was connected to the house, that's why that profile is there, that pochade area. So the bigger picture here is that we're looking to basically connect these two structures with the breezeway. So looking at the northwest elevation, the one-story element on the left is the relocated, reused section of the house. We did, per request of the owner, they did ask to add an addition to it for tools, farm tools, if you will, directly in the front of it. And then the breezeway is just to connect them because that's going to be basically the gateway to get into the rear section. The gambrel portion, the first floor will be used as a barn. I'll try to wrap it up. Is that literally an
That's it.
indication? Really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I'm like, whose
We
phone
like
is
to
that?
surprise people.
So some sliding barn doors, board and batten siding. We altered the cupola or belvedere. We did add a pent roof on the right side of the northwest elevation, going towards the southwest elevation. Again, we aligned those barn doors because they will be used in that fashion, and then added a barn door to the one-story additive piece on the rear. The rest of the elevations, I think, are pretty self-explanatory, but we're all pretty excited about this, and the fact that we're able to reuse a lot of these pieces is exciting. And it's not just for aesthetics, this is going to be functional. So with that, I look forward to comments from the board, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt. I just want to recap. So basically, you're barn boarding the structure proposed. You've added a dormer on the structure. You're connecting a relocated element from a previous approval.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Val?
Yes, I went out there to look at it. So this is the building that still hasn't moved yet, right?
Correct.
Okay. I appreciate reusing the building. The only thing I was struggling with, and is the reason I went out there, is there is absolutely nothing with barn board on that street. And it seems like the outbuildings are all shingled, so I'd be okay with this if it was shingled.
Okay. Can you pass this to Abby?
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any concerns?
Could I go? Because I agree with Val. I'm trying to, in my mind's eye, going up and down Heather Creek, and I don't see any barn board, you know? So I think, and it's a great design, and I think in shingles, it would be more appropriate. The only thing that catches my eye is on that far left on the perspective B, that shed roof coming forward. It looks like it's standing in the way of the smaller gable behind it, and I wish somehow there was a way to I like the breezeway, but I think that the shed dormer with those two storm doors doesn't look, it's not cohesive for me, so those are my comments.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Anger?
I share both Val's feeling about the shingle and Abby's about that connector.
Right?
I feel the same way.
So Matt,
Safer.
I'll make a motion to approve subject to one, shingles, and two, put a hip that conforms to the roof pitch to round that little shed roof into a little hip.
Could I just ask one quick question? Is it possible to come back, to remove it without prejudice? And the only reason I suggest this is actually going to be used as a barn, as an agricultural use.
Wait, I missed the part you were suggesting to
The
remove.
batten, the barn board.
I'd love to keep the barn board. I know that everyone's.
think you're gonna get the
I know that
support.
I'm not, but
Well-
I was just gonna ask if I could agree to it without prejudice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
not saying approved with prejudice.
I'm not
So you're-
prejudiced.
Yeah.
No, no.
We just don't want the barn board.
Yeah.
But if
There
there's an
are
opportunity.
barns out there and they're all shingles, that's the
Yeah.
only reason.
So you can, you bring it back if you want at a later date, and we can maybe go look at it. You could put up some samples and we'll go
Yep.
from there.
Great.
Is someone interested in, I don't know if anyone's gonna be interested in the potential solution there, but if they are, would they want to, make a motion for an Exhibit A to that effect? Which is shingle
The hip
and
roof and,
to wrap that as a hip versus a.
yeah. I'm
Are
fine
you
with
talking
that.
about right here?
Yeah, just turn that
Okay.
into a little hip.
So that just
Right
becomes a
there?
hip.
I
Does it
don't
follow?
mind it the way it is, but whatever.
So, but,
Oh, yeah.
but we're sticking with shingle
Yeah,
Shingle and a hip.
and a hip. That would be my motion with an Exhibit A.
Excellent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
aye.
Carries unanimously. Approved minutes of June 24th and
Thank
July
you for
15th. Are
reusing
either
it.
of these tentative?
Yeah,
votes?
that's very cool.
It's gonna be beautiful. Thank you.
You know?
Yeah.
Okay. Guys, June 24th and July 15th minutes, do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Regular board, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? I'm a no, I haven't
I'm
reviewed them. And if there's an appeal, I have to
what is
represent
it?
it.
Agnostic.
You're not
Yeah.
agnostic. You're
Yes,
abstaining.
because I didn't look at them.
One
You
extension, one
already
no.
signed it.
Do we have a motion to adjourn
Get out.
without prejudice?
Seriously?
So
Already?
moved.
Yeah, how about it? That's fantastic.
Woohoo!
All right. All in favor, say aye.
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 All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening.
You too.
That's a freaking miracle.
Well, the funny thing is, I was thinking, depending on when I get out, I've got like a gigantic list